What's up, dudes? Maximilian here, and with the latest update of Killer Instinct came one of the better surprises in the entire game, a real boss at the end of Arcade Mode. Arcade Mode is kind of similar to Story Mode that you might remember from Killer Instinct 2. It's kind of bare bones, though it's not a huge, elaborate story mode, but it gives us some backstory of the characters. Of course, with stuff like this is released, they gotta have a boss at the end, and of course, as we all know, it is Shadow Jago, but getting to him and defeating him is gonna be extremely hard, but I have some tips for you guys. First up, how the heck do you actually fight Shadow Jago? There's a few things that you need to do. Each character in the new Killer Instinct has three endings that have different endings of how their character progresses in the story. Whether or not they're canon or not, we don't know, but there is 3 in total, and you will need to get all 3 of these endings. Let's talk about how you get them. Generally, there's a good one, there's a bad one, and there's a really good one. The best way to acquire these is to face every single person during any version of Arcade Mode. This can be noob, easy, medium, anything. It's recommended so you don't have too much difficulty. Medium and up can be pretty hard, so I'd recommend this on noob and easy if you're just looking to get some endings and beat Shadow Jago. The first thing you'll need to do on your first run is get nothing but supreme victories. Just go through the entire thing and get every single supreme victory you possibly can get. But be sure not to kill your opponent with ultras, because on your second run, you'll have to kill your opponent with an ultra every single time, or at least a huge amount of times. If you try this, you'll realize that you'll get the second ending unlocked. So, just to recap so far, on your first run, do nothing but supreme victories. Just make sure you win in the first round as much as possible and every single time, and be sure you don't lose. On the second run, end the rounds with ultras every single time if you possibly can. This shouldn't be too hard considering you're on noob difficulty. And then on the last run, try to make it your worst run possible for the bad ending. Don't end with any ultras at all. Don't get any supreme victories. Make sure it goes into like the final round, and you should pretty much guarantee that you'll get the third ending, which is quote-unquote, I think, the bad ending for most characters. At this point, you will have unlocked all 3 endings for each character, and even though it's taken some time, this is the first step to getting to Shadow Jago. And now here's where things get pretty freaking hard. Start up Arcade Mode on medium difficulty, using the same character you've unlocked all 3 of those endings for, and start playing through. At this point, you're going to need to do your best. I mean, you have to get as many supreme victories as possible, as many ultra victories as possible. Be sure, if you're on certain ones, to ultra every single character if you can. This is not going to be easy. It's going to be pretty hard. You can't lose either. At least that's not really confirmed yet. But just for the sake of making sure it works, I would probably just try to get through the entire thing without losing a match. By the time you get to the end of the roster, Fulgore is going to be the final character, and you're going to pass over Fulgore going straight to Shadow Jago. You'll skip the final battle with Fulgore, and Shadow Jago will then be unlocked. Well, here we go. We got to Shadow Jago. That was the hard part, right? Oh god, it got way harder. Shadow Jago is seriously one of the craziest boss fights ever, even on medium difficulty. This game has an adaptive AI. It will counter-break you. It will read your attacks and actually do different counterattacks to prevent you from doing things that are actually comfortable. It's insane how difficult this fight is. But I do have a couple of tips to make it a bit easier, because he is AI. He is not Skynet. We have the power to overcome this computer opponent. The character I would recommend for this is actually Saberwolf or Chief Thunder. The biggest reason is that Saberwolf has launching combos that result in about maybe 10 to 20% damage at the use of meter, but they're unbreakable. You launch them into the air and you're juggling them. There was never like an opener, there was never an ender. It means that Shadow Jago can't do anything about that small amount of damage, kind of like throwing in a way. Jago also has a really good way to do this as well, because if you throw Shadow Jago with Jago, you can cancel that into special moves and, juggle them in the air a whole bunch. Using Saberwolf is where I have the most expertise though, but I do guarantee that using a character like Thunder will be very good, because you literally get 30% damage as a result of one command grab, and that's going to be extremely effective. But with Saberwolf, Shadow Jago has a very specific pattern on medium. This probably doesn't apply to any other difficulty but medium. The things you want to look for is after the running slash, that's back forward heavy kick, Shadow Jago almost always does a move, a button, or goes for a throw. So the best thing you can do after blocking that running slash Slash with Heavy Kick is to go into a Shadow Eclipse. That'll knock him into the air, you get a free juggle combo, and it's about 20%. And this is pretty much what you're going to be aiming for most of the time. Awkwardly enough, there is another small little like AI loop that you can catch Shadow Jago in to make things a bit easier with Saberwolf, and it's that if you do any attack that's low, and then cancel that into either his hamstring or his leaping slash, so that's cancel a normal into back forward light kick or back forward medium kick, which is either a low or an overhead. Sometimes Shadow Jago will actually not block one of these, giving you a small combo opportunity, but he usually combo breaks things really fast. Or what usually happens, if he does block it, he does not counterattack for some reason. So you can kind of get him stuck on this little bit of a loop where he doesn't do anything. He just kind of sits there. You can tech a throw, or you can go and build meter off of this, and then go for the leaping slash with Heavy Kick, and then go for your shadow thing. That's the thing that actually won this match for me, was eventually finding a loop. And you might say, Max, this is cheesy, why would you do that? You're taking advantage of something. Let me tell you guys something right now. Shadow Jago is nowhere close to being fair in any way whatsoever. This guy can throw you out of moves while he's doing moves. He has armor on certain attacks, and everything he does seems to be positive on block. Shadow Jago is no freaking joke. You need to take everything at your advantage to make this fight as easy as possible, and using a couple of these little tips about how AI kind of works in fighting games will help a lot. He will counterattack you sometimes, he will learn what you're doing, but not all the time, at least on medium difficulty, so give it a shot. When you beat Shadow Jago eventually, you can actually rematch him multiple times. You don't have to go through arcade mode all over again, but through this process you will unlock a special ending that talks about something potential that we will see in Season 2. And even more importantly, you unlock one of the most prestigious things in the entire game, and it's the fact that you can select Shadow Jago's stage from stage selection. This doesn't seem like a big thing, but it pretty much cements that, yes, I did it! I defeated this evil son of a bitch! Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun getting to Shadow Jago, and hopefully these tips were helpful, and let me know if they did help you out in the comments below if you end up getting through it. Best of luck on your Shadow Jago battles. I'll be back very soon with a full and comprehensive boss rage on the Kyle difficulty of one of the hardest fighting game bosses I have ever played. Thank you guys very much. My name is Maximilian, and I'll see you next time.
Fudge, okay, we got him down a quarter. Rules of nature. Oh my god! He teched the throw in the middle of a fucking move! He's getting nervous, he's about to die. Let's fucking go! Go!